Hello friends, today I take up a new topic and this is a current topic and the name of the topic is Indo-US relations. A story of ups and downs. So my lesson plan includes why is it in the news, historical perspective, military relation, nuclear cooperation, economic relation, the tension between Indo-US relation, why is the US coming closer to India, and finally conclusion. So friends, one by one I will talk on these points to cover my topic the US relation, a story of ups and downs. So if you like my channel AJIS Academy Indore, please share and subscribe and tell your friends that this is a free channel. Now let us start the proceedings. Why is it in the news? Friends, as you know that our Prime Minister and the US President Joe Biden held a bilateral virtual meeting or the summit on 11th April, yesterday. Now India's Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, both ministers are at Washington and they are engaged in 2+2 dialogue with their counterparts, Foreign Secretary and Defense Secretary of the US. Now India and US kicked off 2+2 dialogue on global issues like the Ukrainian crisis, the quest for free, open, democratic and secure Indo-Pacific region, COVID-19, counter-terrorism. All these points would be covered under 2+2 dialogue between Indian Foreign Minister and Defense Minister and their counterparts in the US. Now, why India and the US are coming closer? Instead of estrangement in the initial phase of our independence, now both countries are engaging with each other. So why? Because China is attempting to challenge and undermine the sovereignty of its neighbors. It has increased its sphere of influence in the littoral states of the Indian Ocean. It has virtually controlled South China Sea and it has eroded the security of the Pacific region countries, unlawful claim on the South China Sea. These are the important factors that have brought India and the US closer. And so now, PPP term, purchasing power parity, China has become #1 economic power of the world. In nominal GDP terms, China is now second to the US, and Chinese economy, its GDP has crossed 15 trillion American dollar against 21 trillion dollar of the US. So you see that China is very, very nearer to the US in matters relating to economic and military strength, and that's why now the US wants a kind of balance to be established in Indo-Pacific region, and that's why the US wants India to be a more closer friend, more important strategic partner in Indo-Pacific region. Moreover, India also wants the US as a closer ally. Why? Because of the threat of China. You see that Chinese economy has now become 5 times larger than that of India. So China has become militarily and economically more powerful than India, and moreover, both countries have long borders and there has been casual on and off fightings on the border areas. So there is always tension between India and China as far as border issues are concerned. China doesn't recognize McMahon Line on Himalayan region. China claim over Arunachal Pradesh. Earlier it was called NEFA. So you see that both the interest of India and the US now converge, and this is the reason that India and the US are coming closer and have become a strategic partner. Now you might be knowing that after the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, world has become a unipolar world where the US is all powerful, and the might, the economic and military might of the US is now being challenged by the rising power of China. So now both countries, India and US, focuses on the rule-based order to have recognition of international law. Biden administration has reaffirmed its commitment to support India's claim for the permanent membership in the UN Security Council and its entry into nuclear supplier group, NSG. Now the virtual summit was meant for bringing India and the US closer in the wake of the Russia and Ukrainian war. And friends, you know that because of this war, the supply of food chain has already been disrupted, and this led to the rise of cost of food items. And you see that today, according to the newspaper report, the inflation in India reached to 6.95% because of the shooting prices of oil, petroleum products and food items. So because of the war, the supply chain has been disrupted worldwide, and this caused inflationary trend in the economy. Now, this virtual summit between our Prime Minister and President of America is meant to discuss as to how can the American sanction or the West European countries sanction against Russia may be effective. So if India purchases oil or gas from Russia, the US apprehends that the sanction against Russia will be torpedoed and it will have no effect. So the purpose of the US President in calling summit is that India should not purchase oil from Russia. But the Foreign Minister of India, S. Jaishankar, told the media person that what India purchases oil from Russia in 1 month, that volume of oil and gas are purchased in one afternoon by Western European countries, and this has become a viral. So you see that everybody knows that the Western Europe is dependent, 75% dependent upon Russia for oil and gas supply. And so the stand of India is that when Western European countries are not banning or the supply of gas and oil, so how can India be stopped from taking oil from Russia? Now, in the summit, our Prime Minister also criticized and condemned charge killings and demanded an impartial probe. Further, Putin and Zelensky should talk directly with each other in order to resolve the crisis. That was the standpoint of our Prime Minister. The US President appreciated India's efforts of humanitarian aid to Ukraine by the supply of life-saving drugs And the two leaders also discussed the destabilizing factors or impact of Russia-Ukrainian war with a particular focus on global food supply. So both the leaders were very much conscious about the destabilizing factors like the disruption of supply chain of foods and other essential items like oils, like drugs, and all these disruptions have caused inflation in different part of the world, with the result that the life of average people, common people, have become miserable on account of price rise. And you have seen that how Sri Lanka is now witnessing 25% inflation in its economy. In Pakistan, more than 12% inflation is running, with the result that the bottom 50% people are struggling to eke out their livelihood. Similarly, in India, according to the report of today newspaper, what you find that inflation has gone up to 6.95% in India on account of price rises in food items and oil products. Now I come to another point, and that is historical perspective. Friends, as you know that Americans were very much in support of India's independence from British imperialism, and American President Roosevelt insisted upon the then Prime Minister Churchill to liberate India, but Churchill said that he has not become the Prime Minister of His Excellency to preside over the liquidation of the British imperialism, since India was the jewel of British imperialism. So they did not agree with the proposal of American president. But friends, as you know that after Second World War, when the economy of Britain settled to the ground, they have no money even to pay their army. So Britishers liberated India, albeit at the cost of partitioning India into two countries, India and Pakistan. Now, after getting independence, our first Prime Minister Nehru advocated the policy of non-alignment. What is the meaning of non-alignment? It means that India will take its stand according to the merit of the case in international affairs. Friends, as you know that after the Second World War, the world was divided into two blocks. One block was headed by the USA and its supporter capitalist countries like France, Britain, Canada, Australia, and another block was led by the Soviet Union with other Soviet countries of Eastern Europe. Now you see that under these circumstances, India adopted the policy of non-alignment. India did not go to any bloc, did not become the party of any bloc. On the other hand, Pakistan immediately joined with the American bloc, like Muslim League, which always supported the British imperialism during the freedom struggle. And so Pakistan became the part of CENTO, Baghdad Pact, and also aligned militarily with the US. So Pakistan went completely into the capitalist camp led by the US, while India remained non-aligned. Its stand was that it will be neutral in the game of power politics between the hostile both camp, both bloc, and it will take a stand according to the situation which will very much benefit its national interest, since India is a poor country. It was a developing country. It is still a developing country. It wanted technology. It wanted capital. So the main objective of India was to take loans, grants, technology, capital from both the blocks. So you see that the policy of non-alignment during the period of Cold War was very much abhorred by the USA. For USA, it was either a black or white area. For India, within black and white region, there was also a gray area. The gray area was led by India, and India was very much vocal for the liberation of other countries which were under European imperialism. And so you see that the US, which has become very much powerful country, and you might be knowing that in 1945 US dropped nuclear bomb upon Japanese cities of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and it resulted into the abrupt ending of Second World War. So now US emerged as the most powerful country of the world, and the US did not like the policy adopted by Nehru, and the policy was non-alignment. And so you see that US did not appreciate India's gesture in international affairs. It also did not appreciate India's stand on Tibet, on China's making China as the permanent member of Security Council instead of Taiwan, and recognition of Communist China on the mainland of China. So you see that the viewpoint of Americans were diametrically opposite to the viewpoint of our government during the initial phase of our independence. Now, on the issue of Goa, again USA took complete opposite view, and it supported Portugal. So friends, you know that after waiting for 14 years, ultimately in 1961, Government of India forcefully liberated Goa from the clutches of Portugal. Now, in spite of the cool relationship between India and the US in its initial phase, what you see that there was ample people-to-people contact between the people of India and people of the US. Now the US became source of technology. US supplied food under PL 480 when drought stared in the face of Indians. There was a acute food shortages in 50s, and so US came to our support. US also helped in establishing IITs in India. It also transferred technology and machines for the industrialization of India. You see, in 1962, when China attacked upon India, the US came to support Indian stand and threatened China, with the result that Chinese immediately withdrew from the Indian soil within 72 hours. So you see that in 1965, when Indo-Pak War broke out, the arms and ammunition provided by the US were used by Pakistanis. However, Pakistanis were defeated in that war. In 1971, when Indo-Pakistan War broke out again on the issue of Eastern Bengal, Americans came to support Pakistanis and they sent their 7th fleet in the Indian Ocean to threaten India. But you see that in 1971, Indo-Soviet Union Friendship Treaty was signed by the then Prime Minister of India, Srimati Indira Gandhi, with the result that the American threat did not materialize, and there was a thaw, a halt between the relation of India with America. Now you see that after the dissolution of Soviet Union in 1991 and the policy of LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization, adopted by India in 1991, in the wake of the shortage of foreign exchange reserve. So what we find that again the relation between India and America started warming up. Indian economy was opened up and now there was huge avenues for foreign direct investment into India. Again, now after the dissolution of Soviet Union, the US became the only superpower. Although this was not good for India, for the national interest of India, it is necessary to have multipolar world instead of unipolar world. But you see that there was no other alternative but to fall back upon the US, and so Indian foreign policy makers adopted their policies and a good rapport was established between India and the US. Now US accommodated India's core national interest and acknowledge outstanding concern. Friend, you know that what are the core national interests? Number one, Pakistan is a hostile country. It always exports terrorists into the soil of India. It wants to take away forcefully Jammu and Kashmir. It wants to weaken the integrity and sovereignty of India. So it is a perpetual enemy of India since its inception in 1947. Number one. Number two, China has become an imminent threat to India, and the entire Himalayan region, which is more than 4,000 kilometers. Now, the McMahon line established by the Britishers is not recognized by China. So you see that there is a frequent skirmishes, fights between the Indian and Chinese forces. China doesn't recognize Arunachal Pradesh and it claims over that territory. Earlier it was called Nepal. So you see that and the growing power of China, making of CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, that crosses through the disputed territory of Jammu and Kashmir, and that CPEC links the Kashgar in Xinjiang province of China to Gwadar port in Arabian Sea. And similarly, China has made several military alliances with Myanmar in eastern border of India. Now Hemant Tota of Sri Lanka has been reached out to China on account of failure of repayment of loans taken from China. You see that this policy of a string of pearls adopted by China and one belt, one road are very much a threat to the integrity and sovereignty of India. Similarly, the dominance of China in Indo-Pacific region and its illegitimate claim over South China Sea and threatening attitude or posture against the littoral states of Indo-Pacific Ocean region. These are the important outstanding concerns for India. And now These concerns have been addressed by the US. Now, increase in bilateral trade and investment, cooperation on global security matters, inclusion of India in decision-making bodies like its desire to make India as a permanent member of Security Council, the UN Security Council, to have a more say in World Bank, IMF, APEC, Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, admission into multilateral export control regime like MTCR, Missile Technology Control Regime, Australia Group support for admission into Nuclear Supplier Group, NSG, and joint manufacturing through shared technology. These are the important ingredients of now change US policy towards India. So in 2016, India was declared major defense partner of the United States. In 2016, India was declared major defense partner of the United States. In 2017, bilateral trade in both goods and services grew by 9.8%. India's export to the US stood at 76 billion, while import from USA stood at 49 billion. Friends, now you see that India's total volume of trade reached to $113 billion. One of the important features of this trade is that the balance of trade is in favor of India. Friends, as you know that USA is the second largest trading partner of India. China is first, number one partner of India. But there is one difference. And what is difference? In trade with China, the balance is not in favor of India. But in trade with the USA, the balance of trade is in favor of India, with the result that forex comes very much or in large quantity into India's exchequer. Now I switch over to military relation. Friends, as you know that India and the US started joint exercises like Malabar series of joint naval exercises in Arabian Sea and Indian Ocean in early since 2000 AD onwards. Now India, a key to balance of power between the US and China in the Indo-Pacific region. Friends, as you know that US has formed Quad. Now India, Japan and Australia and the US, these four nations are the part of Quad, and the objective of Quad is to contain China in the Indo-Pacific region. Now the US wants India one of the major defense partners, and a deal of $50 billion was inked to buy 100 multi-role fighter aircraft from the USA. In 2016, India rejected a proposal by the US to join naval patrol in South China. Because of the joint efforts of India and the US partnership, many test plots were foiled. Both India and US agreed for information sharing and defense cooperation in 2020 to counter China's growing military might or power in the region. Nuclear cooperation. Friends, as you know that in earlier phase, when India detonated its first underground nuclear explosion, nuclear test, it was very much decried by US. India detonated its nuclear test in 1974. Now again in 1998 under the Vajpayee government, second time India detonated nuclear test and US imposed sanction upon India. Numerous European countries also imposed sanction upon India, but this sanction was withdrawn in 2001. So you see that India did not sign comprehensive nuclear test ban treaty, nor it signed our NPT, nuclear non-proliferation treaty. Why? Because India's stand was that NPT was discriminatory. It was a discrimination against the non-nuclear states. In 2006, the US Congress passed the historic India-United States Civilian Nuclear Agreement, with the result that in 2008, India and US signed agreement, and this resulted into that India could buy the US nuclear reactor and fuel for civilian use. Now, in 2008, India-United States Civil Nuclear Agreement was signed, by which American and Indian firms could participate in each other's nuclear energy sector. India would separate its civilian and military nuclear program. And so you see that as far as civil nuclear programs are concerned, IAEA can supervise over it, but military nuclear reactors cannot be supervised by America. Now the US would sell India the reactor technology for setting up and upgrading its civilian nuclear program. And this was the biggest achievement of Manmohan Singh government in 2008-9. And you know that communists withdrew support from Manmohan Singh government on account of this agreement, because they were very much against this agreement. But communists proved wrong, because the Congress government under Manmohan Singh came back to power again, and the agreement between India and the US on civil nuclear energy has a greater role to play in election. Now, economic relation. You see that the US is India's one of the largest direct investors, with a direct investment of $10 billion. Again, India was granted a strategic trade authorization by the United States, which enabled the US to export high technology products in civil space defense to India. The US is India's second largest trading partner, and India is its ninth largest trading partner. In 2021, the trade between India and the US reached to 113 billion American dollar. Now this chart will show you that India's overall bilateral trade, and you see that China is the biggest partner, and thereafter the US, and then UAE, United Arab Emirates, then Hong Kong, Singapore, Saudi Arabia, Germany, Indonesia, Iraq, Japan. So these are the important trading partners of India. And one of the minus point of Indian trade is that its trade with China is very much unfavorable. So this unfavorable balance of trade with China must be reversed. Now the tension between India and the US relations. What are the area of tension between the India and the US relation? Number one, the purchase of India by the purchase of S-400, I mean missile defense system, from Russia by India has become a thorn in the eyes of the US. And so US was thinking to impose sanctions against India. Secondly, India never condemned Russian attack upon Ukraine. And in General Assembly, in Security Council of the UN, India abstained from voting on more than 10 occasions. And so this behavior of India is very much decried by the US. Now, why the US coming closer to India? What are the reasons? Number one, growing economic and military power of India. And you see that Indian economy is growing very much fast, Now it has crossed 3 trillion American dollar in terms of nominal GDP, and in terms of PPP, purchasing power parity, more than 11 trillion dollar. So in terms of purchasing power parity, India has now become the third largest economy of the world after China, USA. In terms of nominal GDP, India is now the fifth largest economy of the world. Similarly, in terms of military power, India is now third largest military power of the world after China and the USA. So you see that the growing economic power, which started from the liberalization policy adopted by India in 1991, large amount of money was invested by the US by way of foreign direct investment. Secondly, the Chinese dominance in the Indian Ocean and Pacific region, and Chinese challenge to the American supremacy. Now China has become number one economy in terms of purchasing power parity, and its economy rose to the tune of $27 trillion, larger than that of American economy. In terms of nominal GDP, it is second to the US, around $15 trillion. So you see that now China, its policy of One Belt, One Road initiative, its policy of illegal claim over South China Sea, its policy to dominate Indo-Pacific region, is a direct challenge to the American supremacy. So now you see that world is now witnessing multipolar world, where China is asserting its power vis-a-vis the US, the only superpower of the world after dissolution of the Soviet Union. So now again Asia Pacific region is very much source of largest source of energy in the world. The Chinese military power threatens the US dominance. The US desire to strengthen its presence in South Asia. Now the US wants to project India as a countervailing power vis-a-vis China to establish balance of power in South and Southeast Asia. And that's why America formed Quad, making India, Japan and Australia as its member to counter the rising threat of China. Now, since Indian economy is growing very much fast and India has shown desire to be an important commercial partner with the US, so it suits now the US national interest to have closer relationship with India. Now Pakistan became exposed after 26/11 terrorist attack upon the US tower, and hideout of Osama bin Laden in Pakistan, and thereafter it's killing, Pakistan's clandestine support to Taliban, and the US withdrawal from Taliban after 20 years. So you see that now US is of the view that Pakistan is an unreliable ally. The US cannot rely upon Pakistanis. Moreover, the economy of Pakistan is now in shambles. Pakistan is now going towards debt trap. So you see that in South Asia and Southeast Asia, it is India which can help the US to become a countervailing power against the rising threat of China. And that's why both the powers, India and US, are coming closer. Now you see, this is the chart. This is the map that will show you that the location of India and the Malacca state of Malacca. This is a red line goes through, and here our military is stationed there. So you see, this Malacca state is very much important for us, for the security of Indian Ocean. And this is the South China Sea and the littoral states of Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand, Laos, all these, Singapore, Brunei, Philippines, all these states are threatened by Chinese hegemony. So you see that the policy of China is to control our South China Sea. It has made artificial islands in different areas of South China Sea, where it has stationed its army permanently. Again, it has made military alliance with Burma. Now it is called Myanmar, and it is now being ruled by military junta. So you see that Burma, and now in Sri Lanka the Hambantota port, and then the Gwadar port, this one, South China Sea, CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, and goes to Xinjiang province of China. So you see that by this way China wants to encircle India by its policy of one belt, one road initiative, and in the Indian Ocean by the policy of a string of pearls. So the Chinese policy is to dominate over Bay of Bengal, Arabian Sea and Indian Ocean. Now conclusion. Friends, what conclusion we derive from this lecture? Number one, India-US relation will further improve. Why? Because of the present scenario. Because when there is a multipolar world, now Russia is also challenging the supremacy of the US and the Western European countries and NATO. So you see that four powers have emerged. Number one, US. Number two, Russia. Number three, China. And number four, India. So you see that because of the present scenario, India-US relation will further improve. Number two, China is emerging another superpower, and the way China supported Russia and its war against Ukraine further brought the US closer to India. Since Russia is the largest military partner of India, India is dependent upon the military spare parts upon Russia. India can't antagonize Russia. India can't go in the camp of the US. So what is the way out for India? India will have to adopt the policy of non-alignment vis-a-vis Russia and China and the US. So you see that when the axis is being formed in Asia between Russia, China and Pakistan, India can't go completely along with the US. So in the coming days, the relation between India and the US will grow, will improve further, because there is no way out on account of the present political scenario in the world. So friends, now I am winding up my lecture. If you like this lecture, please share and subscribe. This is free channel AJIS Academy Indore. Thank you very much.